So we've moved on from inequalities that include less than, so less than or less than equal to, or less than equal to inequalities that involve greater than, so greater than or equal to. We're starting off with the simplest form, just like we did when we started with less than, and that's just having the variable inside the actual parentheses, or the actual brackets for the absolute value. So absolute value of x is greater than 2. Now how we interpret this, whereas less than or less than and equal to were and inequalities. So we put the negative on the left, the positive on the right, and what was in the absolute value in the middle. With greater than, we're looking at an or inequality. So we set this to changing the sign of what's on the right and changing the direction of the inequality symbols. So this would be x is less than negative 2, or instead of and, because we have a greater than absolute value inequality, or x is greater than 2. And the reason for this is because the more negative we get, the larger the absolute value gets. So anything less than negative 2 is going to yield something that's bigger than 2. And in the positive direction, absolute value is just whatever the number is. So anything greater than 2 is obviously going to be greater than 2. Now to graph this, we have x is less than negative 2. So we want to go a little bit further below negative 2. So we'll start with negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And you could go through the process of graphing each individual one and then combining the graphs as we did when we first went over this, but you should be well versed enough in graphing simple inequalities now that you know that with the or we can just do each one on the same number line. So x is less than negative 2. At negative 2 we're going to have an open circle or parenthesis, and it's less than, so it goes to the left. And then the right side we have x is greater than 2, so we go to 2, another open circle because it's not inclusive, and we go to the right. And then finally, in interval notation, we're starting at negative infinity. We're going up to but not including negative 2. So again, a parenthesis instead of a bracket. And that's going to be combined with, so the union 2 non-inclusive to infinity. So for the absolute value of x is greater than 2, we know that x is less than negative 2 or x is greater than 2. It can be on either one of those. So we draw them on the same number line and we union their intervals, negative infinity to negative 2, union to infinity.